This show is sponsored by PowerfulWomenUSA.com, a place to be inspired by other women. Hey everybody, I'm Jill Conway, and this is Secrets of Powerful Women, a show dedicated to celebrating and supporting strong and successful women and sharing their stories. I'm hoping that you will be inspired to pursue your own dreams, reclaim your voice, and discover your strengths. So my guest today is Anna Francese Gass. She is a nationally acclaimed chef. She is also best-selling author of 2 cookbooks and star of her own cooking show on Hulu called Instant Italian, which is also the name of her new book. Anna, thank you for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So Anna, I saw you speak and you have a very amazing story, and I think one that will truly inspire so many women. First, start off with how you got into the career that you have now. How did you become the cooking sensation that you are now? Because that's not what you originally went to school. What did you originally go to school for?
So So if for those of you out there that are around our age, right? When we were coming up, high school, college years, 90s, cooking, being like a chef, I don't know that it was as regarded, revered, really seen as like a career path the way it is today. I mean, it was obviously always a career path, but not in the way that is now because of obviously food media. So, I grew up with an Italian mother who cooked all the time. So I actually had no interest in cooking growing up. It just seemed like, a domestic task. My mom, by design, really, really pushed my sister and I to do very well in school. It was very important to her to have 2 daughters that were highly educated. She always wanted me to have straight A's, like that type of mom. So I excelled in high school. I ended up going to NYU because I came from a very small town in Rhode Island. And, I was always just completely romanced by New York City.
Everyone was at that time. Yeah, you were just called to you.
And it was 2 hours from our house. So we would visit every blue moon, go to a show. It was always like a magical thing when I got to New York. So I wanted to live there. So I went to NYU, loved it, took an intro to psych class my freshman year and was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a psychologist. I want to help people. This is just an amazing profession. I excelled at it. I did dabble with the thoughts of going to law school, graduated with a high GPA, because that's what my parents wanted. And that was important to me. I valued that. And then I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do the rest of my life? Because I want to stay in New York City, and graduate school right now is a little bit out of reach financially. I need to take a minute. Let me get a job. So at the time, it was very in vogue for these big firms, financial firms, to hire liberal arts majors. They're like, oh, we want to mix it up. We don't just want our business majors. So it's like, perfect, because this is a paycheck and I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So I ended up going into financial services. I was down, on Wall Street doing that and making good money, working up the corporate ladder, completely out of my realm of my interest. But at that point, I was kind of just following the money. I wanted to live in Manhattan. It wasn't cheap, So I did that. And I think anytime you kind of do something that's not what you should be doing, you don't really enjoy it. So I did it. I did it for quite a while. I ended up getting married. I had 2 girls. I moved to the suburbs out of Manhattan. I moved to Connecticut, which I'm still here. And after my second daughter was born, Veronica, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just not happy. And maybe it was a little bit of postpartum. I had 2 girls under the age of 2, but I was like, this is just not, I just don't want to get up and go to work.
Well, let me stop you there, because I feel like at that point, you probably on paper looked like you're living the dream, right? Like you were just the big job and so great. Yeah. Wall Street. Right. So you're like, I should be happy, but this isn't, this doesn't light me up.
And that's a really great point. And I think, obviously I think especially now with social media, right? Everything is smoke and mirrors, right? We don't really know what's going on in people's lives. So I would say, and God, I feel so grateful even having these words come out of my mouth. But personally, in my personal life, I've always felt very happy and fulfilled. I always wanted to be a mom. I always wanted to be a wife. I had those things. They were all working. but professionally, I was miserable. And, I tell this to my kids all the time now. I have a daughter in college and she's trying to sort it out. And it's like, you work more than you do anything else. It's just the reality of it, you know? You have these big buckets of time that you're doing other things like getting educated or having children, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom for a little bit. But at the end of the day, if you count the hours of your life, whatever you're doing as a job is going to take up a lot of that time.
Yeah.
So you should really try to be happy doing it, because no matter how happy you are at home, if you're not happy at work, and probably the reverse too, right? If you're loving your job, but like your personal life's in the toilet, that's probably a problem too, right? So you want to try to have a rounded life.
Right.
And I didn't.
Right. Because you felt what at that point? You felt just, why did I choose
I
this?
mentioned this when I was talking. It was square peg, round hole. I'm not a finance person. I don't like math. I don't.
I don't either.
I don't, I don't enjoy, I was in sales. And I'm really good at marketing. I mean, I'm a talker, obviously. I've used those skills now in a different way, but like I was great at sales. I'm a people person. I could do all the things, get everybody where they needed to go. I was getting promoted. I was getting raises. I was getting bonuses. I was just like, this is not fun for me. Like, I don't enjoy this.
Right. That takes courage to say. And
I know. And I was so young at the time when I said it, but I was just like, I can't see myself doing this for the next 30, 40 years of my life.
Right.
So I think when you do have kids, like for us women, and it's a blessing, it's so lucky. Like when you do give birth and you have those, what seems like 5 minutes of maternity leave, you can kind of take stock. Like, all right, I'm now in this position. I have this child. I'm sitting still for a minute. I've gotten out of the hamster wheel, at least for a couple of minutes. Now what? And a lot of people obviously just go through their maternity leave. They jump right back in, all the good things. I was like, well, I can't do this anymore. Or I'm going to do it until I don't have to do it anymore. I have to find something else. And that's when I was talking with my dad, and he was like, I really think you should do something with food. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's a hobby. And he's like, yeah, but you love it. And why couldn't your hobby be your career? And it was funny at the time. He's like, you love Rachel Ray and you buy every cookbook and you subscribe to all these magazines. Like, what if that could be what you do for a living? So I was like, okay. And just always someone that believed in education. Education was always promoted to me. Instead of like going to a caterer and asking for a job, or going to a baker or a restaurant, I was like, I should go to culinary school. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to get educated. I'm going to do this right. So I dipped my toe in first. The French Culinary Institute, which unfortunately no longer exists, in downtown Manhattan, had a amateur program. It was a summer program. You did it for 6 weeks. And if you liked it, you could transition into their full-time program. So I was like, that's the ticket. I'm going to dabble. I'm going to try this, see if I love it. And then if I do, I'll have accrued credits. So that really worked for me. And needless to say, like from day one, from the jump, I was like, this is where I need to be, standing in front of a stove, doing this. Jill, I was exhausted. I was raising 2 girls, and this was a night program that I signed up for. I mean, I was there and I was driving in and out of the city. I was there from 7 p.m. till 11 p.m., 3 nights a week.
So you didn't get home till like 1 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably wired still, and you can't go to bed. Yeah.
But then, up at 5 with my girls because I got to get them ready for preschool and whatever. And my parents were such a help, and my husband was so supportive. So like, it wasn't like I was, single mom doing this all on my own. I had plenty of help, but like, you're the mom, you're the default parent. So I was still doing all the things and doing this, but I look back now, like, how did I do it? But I think if you love what you're doing and if you're happy with what you're doing, you're not tired. I have a girlfriend that she said to me this the other day, she's like, 'cause she's on a book tour right now. And someone was like, aren't you tired? And she's like, no. You know what makes me tired? Wasting my time, feeling unappreciated, feeling like I'm doing something that's not getting me results. This energizes me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel the exact same way. And if you think about it, when do you feel tired, sick and tired? Like when you're not happy, when things aren't going your way, when you're, you know, rocking on all cylinders, doing what makes you happy, feeling like you're successful, you don't feel tired, even
Right.
though physically you probably, should.
Right, right. All right, so you're in school and you're loving it. You're loving it. So then what happened?
So the interesting thing about kind of being a career changer is you know exactly what you want. And so you don't really waste any time. So I was in the class. I was one of the oldest people in the class. I think there was 2 people in the class older than me and they were like doing it for fun.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I went to career services. Now, career services was mostly just placing these young kids in restaurants.
Huh.
And I walk in and I'm like, I don't want to work in a restaurant. I love restaurants. I'll do a stage because like you have to do a stage to graduate. Like you have to go work in a restaurant to kind of like learn the line and all that.
Oh.
I said, I'll do all that, but that is not the career trajectory for me. I have 2 girls under the age of 2. Like this isn't going to happen. So they were like, okay. They're like, well, what do you think about food media? And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I'm a really good writer. I had a minor in journalism and I'm analytical and I'm fascinated by food. I've read every food magazine. I've watched every Food Network show. Sign me up.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of want to say I didn't really have a lot of competition. Most people were not going that way at the time. So I got right into Martha Stewart Living. I was in that test kitchen. I interviewed and it was funny because I really had to sell myself because they wanted somebody full time, like every day, 9 to 5. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. I'm raising my girls during the day and I'm going to culinary school at night. I was like, I can give you 3 days a week. And I was like, but I will do 5 days of work in 3 days. So you'll pay me less
Right.
and you'll get the same output. And they're like, all right, we'll give you a shot. And that's exactly what I did.
Well, they have nothing to lose, right? At that point. No, right? And they're getting a good deal.
And if I didn't work out, there was some other girl, right
Yeah.
behind me ready. But
Yeah,
I really was like, I'm walking out with this. And it was amazing. Working in that test kitchen, learning all that I learned. It is not an accident that Martha Stewart is as successful as she is.
Meaning what? Like she's intense. Like they always.
It's intense, but like, and 99% of it was in all the right ways, right? Like our kitchen was pristine. Everything was organized. Everything was labeled. I mean, I'd never seen that before in my life. Like just that level of integrity and precision to a test kitchen. And then testing something that's going to be in the magazine and like it not being absolutely perfect. So we have to go back and do it again, and figure out, okay, what was it? Was the baking soda off? Maybe it needs a little less flour. Maybe it needs to rest, whatever it was.
Wow.
But even just that dialogue was fascinating to me.
Yeah. That's a lesson. Wow, that's a lesson like no other. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, look, you learn so much in school. And then it's about, like they say, like on the job training, right?
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And I also worked on their blog. So I was doing a lot of writing. So it was it's kind of like when you look at your life, like in the rear view, you see how every single thing you did got you to this point. Like, I don't regret working in finance, not at all. Like, I learned so much there that still helps me to this day. I don't regret majoring in psych and journalism.
Right.
All of them got me to the point that I'm at today. And I mean, I guess that's just by design, right?
I love that because I believe the same thing. And I've said it so much on the show. It's like every single step you take, and you might not see where it's going, but it is getting you to where you end up, where you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you're working for Martha Stewart, and then what happens?
Well, the term ended and it was, they weren't taking on anyone full time. So I said, okay. So I actually extended for a while. And then I was like, I came back and did some freelance work, but then career services again. Like, this is why, like, this is just another lesson. Like, always utilize the help that is there. Like, I tell my daughter this too. Like, she's a freshman in college. It's like, go talk to your advisor. Go talk to student affairs. Like, go talk to all the people that are put in place to help you.
Yeah.
Don't try to figure something out on your own if you don't have to. There's
Mhm.
a reason that they're there, and they're there to help.
Right.
So I was like those women loved me. I was in there all the time. Like, what's going on? Does anyone have any freelance work? Like, they would get me day gigs, like different things, like going to a studio, doing some food styling, whatever it was. And I would take it because it was gobbling up information and getting contacts.
Right.
So then they said, okay, Amanda Hester is looking for a test kitchen chef. And now, if you don't know who Amanda Hester is, she was the editor-in-chief of the New York Times cooking section. She was a really big deal. And she had recently gone out on her own to open up food52.com, which is now this huge website, which she has sold. But they were like, oh, she needs someone to run the kitchen.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
out of her house in Brooklyn. So I did it. And again, this is just another rung on the ladder of learning.
Mhm.
I was in there like making these dishes. Then it was getting shot for the website, helping with the recipe testing, the developing.
Mm.
She started writing cookbooks because when I got pregnant with my third, I was like, I can't come in anymore. So I started working on the cookbooks for them from home. Um, and it's funny because we met at a women's event, but no, not to dog men, but like when I look back on my career, like it has always been a woman that has just lifted me to that next level. And I'm very grateful to that. Very
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. No, I know. Listen, I mean, there is strength in women's, when we get together, when we work together, we become unstoppable, and we help each other and lift each other up. So, all right. So you're doing this test because I know where your story's going. That's why I'm like, all right, come on. So, so you're doing this for Food 52, right? And then, oh, and you're doing that for how long? How long did you do that for?
I was here 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And then it was just, I was so pregnant. I was like, I can't do this commute to Brooklyn anymore. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
commuting from Connecticut at that
To
point. Like, it was
Brooklyn.
not easy. But again, when you're
Yeah.
invigorated, and Amanda was such a mentor to me and really always, I would come to her with different things I wanted. I remember when I was building my website, just like my personal website. I
Mm.
was like, would you look at this?
Right.
And she was like, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. Fix this. Um, and I wanted to stay in that fold. I wanted to
Yeah.
still, I wanted to have, I wanted to have a baby, my third baby, but I needed to have a tethered career. And that's what I tell people, especially younger women that I talk to, is this whole thing of having it all is really hard.
Mhm.
We want to have a baby, we want to have a career. It's not always easy. And what I always say is you can have it all, but not maybe all at the same time.
Right.
Like you kind of have to navigate what in that moment is most important. And being with my children has always been very, very important. I think that's how I ended up here too, is the fact that I can do so much from my home and be here
Mhm.
when they get home from school and all those things.
Yeah.
Um, but you can't fully just disappear. You just can't. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong and there's women that could tell me different. But I think if you're just like, all right, I'm going to be a stay at home mom, I think that's fine. But I think staying there for a very long time and then wanting to get back out, of course it can be done. Anything can be done,
Mhm.
but it's not so easy.
Right.
So my strategy was, let me keep some tether to the industry, whatever it is, whether I'm recipe testing, whether I'm working for a brand. I worked for Whole Foods for years, like
Mhm.
testing stuff for their website. Let me keep some irons in the fire, even if they're
Yeah.
small irons, because
Right.
I don't want to, if I fully disappear, I don't know that they're going to take me back. Because then it
Right.
started getting more competitive.
Right. Right.
Then you start having Iron Chefs and Bobby Flay. Like, things are starting to really explode in the Food Network business,
Right.
the Food Network, but like the food business also.
Yeah.
That, like, and then I'm seeing younger and younger people coming up, and they're
Mhm.
not even going to high school. They're college. They're going straight to culinary school and coming out and working these jobs.
Mhm.
So that was kind of my strategy. I think it fared well. But yeah, so what I think you want me to talk about next is my cookbook development.
Well, we'll talk. Well, yes, but I want to talk. Was that before the Instagram? All that was that the
This is
COVID?
kind of when Instagram
Okay.
was starting to kick into play.
Okay.
And I wasn't the OGs with the Instagram. Like, I didn't really
Yeah.
get it at first, But then someone said to me, like, look, you need to be on Instagram. This is like the new way that people are really showcasing themselves. So I was like,
Right.
okay. So I dabbled. I was in there, but like, and I don't think anybody really exploded until COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I think none of us really realized what the heck it was until then.
Right.
Um, but I'm working from home. I'm working on these books. And then, again, a friend just said to me, "You work on all these cookbooks, Anna. Like, what about you? Like, why don't you have a cookbook?" And he's like, "Why don't I have a cookbook? I could have a
Mhm.
cookbook. I know how to
Right.
do it. I
Yeah.
know every step of it. I've worked on so many of other people's books, but then you need an idea, right?" So that was kind of when I had, these little ones at home with my mom a lot. She's helping me. And then here comes the meatball project, which is I realized I didn't have any of my mom's recipes written down. I was like, I'm a recipe tester and developer. Like, this is embarrassing. I need to have these recipes written down. So we started our meatball project. Every Sunday, I'd go to her house and we'd write down a recipe. Once I completed that, I really had like this, it was an Oprah aha moment of, I just did this for my immigrant mom. I could do this for other people. Like, this was so rewarding. And I know tons of people with moms from other countries that have come here. They still cook their food, but they have nothing written down.
Mm.
And that's how Heirloom Kitchen started, which I literally started bouncing from kitchen to kitchen, started with an email to all my friends that were like first gen, with immigrant parents. And then I just started bopping from kitchen. And then I ended up in kitchens with people that like were like twice removed from someone that I had known.
Mm.
And I ended up cooking with 35 women, but halfway through my project, I got a cookbook deal.
Wow. Wow. I do want to pause you right there and say, like, you were born in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and obviously your whole family's probably from there. So when did you come over? When did everyone come over to the US?
So my story is a little unique. It's not really the traditional Italian American story. So my dad is an Italian American. He was born and raised here. His parents were born and
Oh,
raised here.
okay.
He's actually what would he be? He's second generation.
Okay.
So he grew up in an American English speaking home, all that. My mom is from Italy with no relatives in the US.
Wow.
And they met because my dad decided that his passion was Italian all things Italian growing up. And he decided to become an Italian language specialist. And
Wow.
ultimately, he became a professor. So he decided to do a master's degree at the University of Rome. Went to the University of Rome, went down south to Southern Italy to visit some family members, and he met my mom. So
Wow.
I always call it like a mixed marriage because I have an American dad. I mean, my dad speaks perfect Italian, but not from growing up speaking it.
Right.
Because he learned it in school, and then like an Italian mom. And the plan was actually for them to stay in Italy. But my dad like was having a hard time getting a job or moving or whatever it was. And they were like, why don't we just go to the US?
Hmm.
And we'll go to my hometown. I'm from Rhode Island. We'll sort this all out and then we'll figure it out. And ultimately, like I was born there and we came here and then, we set up shop. My mother wanted to be here. But in my house, I had an Italian speaking home. I mean, always spoke to my dad in English, but like I spoke to my mom in Italian. All the
Wow.
customers in my house were Italian. And I grew up with that really being the nucleus.
Uh-huh.
So I think I also very much relate to first gen kids too,
Uh-huh.
that grew up in a home where the parents did not necessarily speak English in the house. They did not eat American, quote unquote, American foods in their house. Um, so Heirloom Kitchen was like the book I was kind of born to write. And it's very autobiographical. Like the intro to my book is really like my origin story, explaining kind of how it is living in an immigrant home because it's
Uh-huh.
different, right?
Uh-huh.
Like I would go to my friend's house and it was a very American home and American customs and traditions, and my home was kind of a mixed bag, right? Like I had English speaking grandparents and did Italian American things. And then, we're calling Italy to talk to my whole other side of my family. We're visiting Italy to see my other family.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. All right. So wait. Okay. So, all right. We're on 25 minutes. Let's pause here. Let's we're going to come back because there's so much more. The story gets so good. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with Anna Francese Gass. After the commercial break, you're listening to Secrets of Powerful Women. Help me get the word out. Share this podcast with a friend because it is so good. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. I'm Jill Conway. If you love what you're listening to, please like and subscribe to my channel on whatever podcast platform you listen to and on YouTube so I can keep bringing you these amazing women and sharing their stories. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you love it as much as I do. All right, welcome back. You're listening to Secrets of Powerful Women. Anna Francese Gass is with me, and she's a chef. She's a host of a new cooking show called Instant Italian on Hulu, and she's a two-time best-selling author of two fabulous books. So, which we were just talking about, the Heirloom Kitchen. So you helped all these families write down their recipes, and that became a huge hit, right? I mean, you went everywhere with that book.
It was really nice. And, if you can, from what I've said, you can kind of gather, I was always kind of like a behind the scenes person, like in the test kitchen, getting those recipes right, like getting things ready for websites, getting things ready for television, whatever it was. So then when you write a book, and this is really true for any book, but the publishers really don't do so much as far as selling that book. So you have a couple of different jobs. It's writing the book, creating that book, but then once that book is in print, it is really on you to sell that book and to get out in the world and get the word out. So one way to do that is television. So they started like booking me on things, and it was like, okay, now I have to do this. I ended up getting booked very, very lucky, got booked on the Food Network's The Kitchen. It was like a kitchen talk show. And I was scared out of my mind. It was live television. But it went really, really well. And at the end of it, the producer came up to me and he said, "You are really good on camera." And I was like, "I am." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Look," he's like, "everyone's got to work at it, but like, you just can do it and you're really good at it and you have something with it." And I was like, okay. I just loved that. That was really fun. And I really enjoyed that. So then I was like, what else can I go on? So then it was like getting myself out there, doing the book tour, talking to people. And I've always been an extrovert. I've always been, I was class president, it's not like it was like this shy person that came out of my shell. I was always this person, but I don't get nervous talking to crowds. I don't get nervous on television. So I was like, this is enjoyable for me.
Right.
So I did all that. And then that was 2019. I'm rounding out my tour, running towards the finish line, the crowd is cheering. And then lockdown.
Yeah.
The rest of my tour gets canceled. We now have this pandemic. What is going on? We're locked in. I'm literally teaching kindergarten to my son. And I'll never forget the day. Like, we were literally like a week or two into lockdown, and Instagram makes this announcement that they're going to lean into videos, that they want people to start doing videos. So I was like, all right, I got to figure this out. And I remember I even called a friend that's also on Instagram, and I was like, how are we going to do this? Because like, I can barely write an email. But I did. I figured it out. And like Reels, I think that they were still calling them Reels. Yeah, I think they were originally, Reels, the videos that we do. I know they're called Reels now, but I think they were still called Reels back then. Like, I sold my book that way. I would get up, I set up a tripod, I'd make the recipe, I'd show the steps. And it was like, and buy the book for the recipe, and buy the book for the recipe. And like, look, it wasn't like the same as going on Good Morning America, but it was getting things done. Then I get a call from Good Morning America, because I went on Good Morning America. You will never believe this. I went on that show on, Pi Day.
Yeah.
pi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, probably the math,
Yeah.
equation.
So
Yeah.
I went on that show for National Pie Day, PI Day, and I made pie. The next day they shut the city down. Literally, that studio got shut down. So
Wow.
my producer calls me and she's like, yeah, that was such a great segment. Da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, who knows when we're going to see each other again? She's like, Anna, she's like, do you know how to work Zoom? I was like, yeah. She's like, do you have a tripod? I was like, yeah. She's like, would you be interested in doing like segments from home? I was like, what? So I started doing national Good Morning America segments from my house with a computer and a tripod. And then like we did a couple like that. Then they'd have two cameramen come with masks. Then it was 3, then the lighting guy. So like
Wow.
as Disney kept opening things, like as the regulations kept coming down, like it was insane. But it solidified my relationship with them.
Yeah.
And like I still go on GMA. I went on GMA yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's still helping sell my books. But again, it's like divine timing, weird things that happen, being able to kind of like pivot.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time I had to go on GMA at home. I had bought, they made me buy earpiece, like the little buds, which I don't like. So I put them in and they're doing a sound check. And it's 4:30 in the morning. I got to do the sound check. And it's not, I can't hear them. And like I got all the food out, like I'm ready to do this segment and I can't hear them. And I just start crying. And my husband ran upstairs, and I think my eldest at the time was like 13 at the most. And he's like, wake up, mommy needs help with the computer.
I think everyone can relate to that, right? Yeah. Oh my God.
Full makeup, food out, tears. And my daughter's like half asleep in like 2 types. She fixes it, like 2
Here.
presses of the
Right.
computer.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny.
So, I do that. And then the book's successful. I'm like, this is amazing.
Fantastic.
I'm keeping my foot in every door, right? Like, so
Yeah.
I'm doing the Instagram. I'm still doing these things on the Today Show. I got my blog, all these different things. So I am a freelancer, even to this day. That is what I am. But I dabble in all these things because, like, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of doing everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it all just kind of worked out really nice. And then when I was gearing up for my second book, I went on Access Hollywood out in LA, and I was talking to my producer and she was like, have you ever been on the Rachel Ray show? And I was like, I can't get on that show. I go, I have pitched that producer like 10 times. He doesn't call me back. And she's like, I used to work on Rachel, right? And I'm like, no. And she's like, I'm going to connect you with my girlfriend because she's still there. I was like, okay.
Wow. My God.
Get an
Wow.
interview with them. They send Rachel Heirloom Kitchen. Rachel falls in love with the book. We do a segment over Zoom. She was like, I love this book. I love you. Let's keep in touch. We became like pen pals,
Right.
during this whole era. I'm just like insane. I'm like pen pals with like this woman that I've looked up to my entire life.
Yeah.
And then the second book comes out because I'm still working and I'm still
Right.
figuring things out. And Italian Snacking is a lot of fun. I traveled all around Italy for that book. And that I feel is a very personal book because I wrote those recipes. They're my recipes that I've developed. And then I get another opportunity to go on Rachel Ray. But this time it's in person, right? So I go on and I'm face to face with her and she's like, you and I are going to do something together. Like we're going to figure something out because I just am very taken by you. You're the real deal. And I was like melting in my boots. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. But the one thing I'll say about Rachel, and just to fast forward real quick, she is the producer of my television show, is everything she's ever promised me, she's done. Like when she said to me, you and I are going to do something together. I want to see you. She'd have someone set that up. She actually said, I want you to come visit me in Tuscany because I want you to film with me. Let's do that. I went to Tuscany, like everything.
Wow.
But what I didn't know was when she was having me in Tuscany and like having me film on her show as a guest, she was kind of like testing me. Like, is this girl good on camera? Can this girl run a kitchen on TV? All these things. And so, it was funny because, I'm just kind of doing all the things. And then Variety announces Rachel Ray is ending her run for the Rachel Ray show after 17 years or whatever it
Yeah.
was. And she's
Yeah.
opening up her own production company. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. Good for her. And my girlfriend called me up and she's like, my mom, because my best friend from growing up, and her mom is like my biggest fan. She's like, my mom thinks Ellie's going to give you a show. I was like, well, tell your mom I said thanks. I hope that happens. And sure enough,
Wow.
Rachel calls me. She's like, I want you to come to dinner with me and my partners because I really want to give you a TV show.
Was that the biggest pinch me? Like, was that the biggest pinch me moment that you've had?
I think so, just
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
TV is so like meta. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Mm.
just something I mean, of course, watching Food Network, I was like, I could have a show. I would be so good on TV. I would, always had that like kind of like manifest bucket list, but like
Yeah.
so far out there, like don't even want to write it down on a piece of paper type of dream.
Yeah.
So to have someone do that for me and to create that, I mean, every day on my set, I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe
Wow.
like this is Instant Italian with Anna Francese Gass. Like, I can't believe that this is happening. Very grateful for it. It's kind of where I'm sitting right now, like in a very, very deep seat of gratitude. The first season came out. It's up on Hulu. Hopefully things are different now, right? Like TV's not like what it used to be. Like, it's not like, you get a show and then like you can't leave your house because there's paparazzi. Like, I'm still very much living
Thank God.
my
I hope you
best,
never have to deal with that. Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm still living in very much my simple life. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not someone that is, readily recognizable, none of those things. Like, sometimes I'll have people be like, should I know who you are? And I'm like, no, I don't
I
think
mean,
so. Like,
what kind
if you
of
do,
question?
great.
Yeah.
But I know it's a very
Mm.
odd question, but I do
Yeah.
get that
Yeah.
because they're like, you have a TV show. Like, shouldn't I know who you are? But we
Yeah.
have how many apps now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's still a huge, huge deal, though. I mean,
Yeah, no, and
yeah,
I'm
for
so
sure.
grateful. And it's on Hulu, and hopefully it'll stream out to other things because Hulu's owned by Disney and all these big conglomerates. So
Oh.
there's actually a lot of potential still there.
Mhm.
I still don't know about a third season. It's something that we're trying for. Hopefully the response allows for that. Um, and I mentioned this when I did that discussion that we met at, is I've really gotten to a place, and maybe it took getting to my 40s to do this. And maybe you feel the same, is I'm just trying to sit in today's success because I've never done that. It's always like next, next,
Chasing, yeah.
next.
Yeah. Chasing the dream, right? Chasing the
Yeah.
next instead of just breathe, enjoy. I think that's a very hard thing to do. I think that's a
Yeah.
hard thing to
I
do.
think if you're kind of type A, overachiever, like nothing, no matter, and then like you reach the top of a mountain, and instead of kind of like, having your like Maria Sound of Music moment, you're just looking for the next mountain. You're
Right.
not like actually enjoying the fact that you've reached this peak.
Right. I
So that's
just
kind of where I am.
It's so true. I literally just taped a podcast with a woman who just went back to gymnastics in at 50 and started competitive
Wow.
competing in the world, and has now won gold medals and competing against 18-year-olds. And she's still competing at 58. But she was saying the same thing, like even in your successes, you're still chasing. So you don't really appreciate how far you've come sometimes, right? Because you're just like, oh, but I want to do that. I want to do that. You keep moving the goalpost
Yeah.
instead of, and I think as women, and men, I think we're all guilty of that because we don't appreciate everything we have. And that's why the moments of gratitude and of stillness and of, you're like, okay, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, Anna, you're
Yeah.
doing pretty good.
I know. And it's so funny because like, and I'm sure you get this too, like I'll see people out and they're like, oh my God, like you're killing it. You're everywhere. You're killing it. And I'm like, I am?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I guess I am. You kind of reach a level where you're like, all right, what's next? How can I do more? What's more, 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 more? And writing that keynote speech was really, really therapeutic for me because I
Mm.
had never really, I mean, I'm in my 40s. Like, I'm not about to start writing a memoir, but it
Right.
kind of felt like that because they said, we really want you to talk about all your success and
Mhm.
everything that's happened to you to get you to this point. So I did.
Yeah.
I think my speech was actually a little bit too long, but
Yeah, but that was your story. It was
that's a learning lesson. I was whatever. But I was like going through all these things. And like I said, like how this step led me there and that
mm,
step led me there. And this failure dropped me down here, but it's exactly where I needed to be to go, this way.
mhm,
So, and I said in my speech, there's this famous Gandhi quote, like, there's only 2 days of the year that you have no control over, and that's yesterday and tomorrow. So focus on today.
mm.
And I was like, I like don't believe in tattoos, but like if I did, that's the one I would get because I think that is the biggest challenge for someone that is trying to be, a powerful woman is
Mm.
sometimes you really just have to realize tomorrow's not here yet. I cannot imagine what it's going to be. I can't change yesterday. It's gone.
Mhm.
Let me just sit in today and figure out what I want to do today. And I think in old age, that's what I'm going to try to do.
I love it, but I think part of your story, and what I find so moving, certainly, and is such a big part of your story, is your ability and your willingness to pivot, right? Because you were all in finance, 100% all in, and it takes a lot of strength and guts and bravery to say, "This doesn't light me up. This doesn't float my boat. I gotta follow my dream." You know?
Yeah.
And even if you don't know what your dream is, like, start taking this one step towards something that you like, that you
A
love,
hundred
you know?
percent. I have
Yeah.
girlfriends now, and like I said, girlfriends that have taken time off, that had the kids. Now,
Mhm.
some of them, the kids are going off to school, or like, like once your kids hit like seventh, eighth grade, like they don't need
Yeah.
you like you. You have to go
Yeah.
find them in the house. You're like, where are you?
Right. Right.
It's a whole weird thing. They go literally, it's like a minute, mommy, 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 to like, where are you?
Get out of my room. Right.
Exactly. My son is all my kids are in their collective rooms right now. No one has
Right.
any idea where anyone else is. So you get to this point, right? And I had a daughter leave for school. So that was like an existential
Traumatic.
crisis of its own
Yeah.
because the first kid leaving is like no other, but that's a whole
It's
nother
traumatic.
podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, um, you just get to a point where you're like, I need to focus on me. I need me to matter.
Mm.
I love that June Carter quote, I'm just trying to matter because I think
Yeah.
that's all of us.
Yeah.
And so I will have girlfriends be like, I want to do something. I don't know what it is. It's like,
Right.
okay, what do you like?
Right. Right.
What do you
But they
like?
don't
Well, I
even know.
really,
Anna, they can't even answer that question sometimes, right? Because they lose themselves. We lose ourselves sometimes with raising our kids. We become mom, and then it's like,
we
who am
become mom.
I? Who
Yeah.
am I? Who do I want to be? You know?
But how exciting it is, instead of finding it daunting, how exciting it is to be in a position.
Mm.
I mean, where
Yeah.
we are, how lucky we all are that you can try to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
even just my sister, like, she loves decorating her house. Like she really enjoys it. And I'm like, you're really good at this. And I was like, is
Right.
that something you could see yourself doing? She's like, well, I don't know. I was like, well, explore it,
Right.
or like with me, like I was leafing through food magazines. Like it wasn't like, but it's something that my mind would constantly go to. That's something that constantly
Yeah.
was on my radar. And we all have those things. So once the noise dies down, like I said, like with the maternity leave of not having to go in the office. So once your mind is quiet,
Mm.
what is still talking to you, right?
Oh, that's good. That's like a faith-filled moment there. Do you meditate or anything? Do you allow yourself to take that little time and get quiet or
I'm way too anxious and like crazy to meditate. And I have tried. I have tried. Whenever I meditated, I would always end up falling asleep. I
Yeah.
don't think that's what's supposed to happen. I I don't meditate, but I do pray.
Yeah. Same
And I
thing.
do feel like that is a
Yeah.
form of meditation to
Yeah.
just kind of take that moment at night to kind of pray. And I'm not like an overly religious person, but I do think I'm a pretty spiritual person.
Mhm.
And, I was raised Catholic. So like those tenements are still kind of in my heart and soul
Mhm.
just from that. Um, but I think that I do journal, but not like journal like, hey, diary, today I had egg whites. Like, it's not that type of thing. I'll write down like quotes that spoke to me or like ideas or manifesting. I do it a lot. I do it. And I started to have my kids do it because I showed them my manifesting boards. And it's really hokey. It's very childish actually what I do. But January 1st, I go to the CVS and I buy a big poster board. And at the top of it, I write the year, 2024, 20, whatever it is. And then I just list everything I want. Everything. I mean, first at the top, I always write health, happiness, my kids. Like I write things that are just like the defaults that I always want to have. And then I write the crazy shit. Like I want my show to do this. I want a daytime Emmy. I want, like whatever it is. And it's insane things. And that's okay. But I will tell you, and I show this to my son every year, when something on the list happens, I make a check. And then at the end of the year, anything that's unchecked gets transferred to the new year. Or I decide, you know what, I don't really want this anymore, whatever it is. But it's really interesting when I look back on these boards, things that I wanted 5 years ago that might have taken 3 years to happen or 4 years to happen, but like the checks are there.
Yeah.
And it's, who knows? Maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe it doesn't do anything, but it sure feels good. And I'm a goal-driven person. I'm a to-do list kind of person. So it's very natural for me. And then if it doesn't happen, so what? Who knows? It's my manifest, and I'm not sharing it around the world like it's mine.
Right. First of all, you're preaching to the choir because I'm big into manifestation. I'm big into the whole metaphysical everything. I mean, I believe your mindset dictates much of your life and the things you say, and don't speak it unless you mean it. Like, so I believe in that. I just had something I said out loud the other day and it just happened today. And I just kind of like who, like who's list, like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
You're like, wow,
It's true.
that stuff works. That really
It sure
works.
does.
Yeah, it really does. So what are you looking forward to over the next few years?
So
What's on that list? What's going to be on
what's
that
on that
board?
list? I know I have to start. So I haven't even started putting the list together because like November, I'm still kind of like in holiday mode or whatever.
Yeah,
I
for
will
sure.
tell you, like, I find the time between Christmas and New Year's to be very magical for me. So December 25th, have the family, the dinner, all the stuff, the opening of the presents. And then it's like December 26th, I finally feel like whether it got done or it didn't, it's over. It's
Yeah.
over. The year is over.
Yeah.
Gifts, meals, whatever. 26th to the 31st, I really get self-reflective. That's when I have my meditation moment, that I really sit down on a daily basis. We go up to Vermont. So it's like really quiet there. The Wi-Fi is bad. My kids ski. I attempt to ski. But what I really do is I start making these lists and just figure out, all right, where am I at? What do I have? What do I want to have? Where do I want to go? What do I see happening out in the industry? Like, look, whether we like it or not, social media is not getting smaller. It's getting bigger. Okay. So one thing I'm thinking about is, how do I elevate my platform? It's kind of stagnant. Maybe I need to take that in a new direction. Do I move over to YouTube? I don't know, but these are kind of the rumblings in my head right now. My girlfriend said to me the other day, she's like, you need to be like a squirrel gathering nuts. All these little ideas, just gather them. And then next year you decide like which one you want to pick up and actually go with. Like, she's like, cause she's doing a podcast. She's like, do you want to do a podcast? Do you want to do a supper club? Whatever it might be. But I think that's kind of a good, I mean, I don't believe in resolutions because I'm always going to swear too much. I'm always going to eat chocolate. Like all the shit I say I'm not going to do, I'm going to do. But I manifest. Those are my resolutions. Yeah. What do I need to get done? What do I want to get done?
That's funny. That's funny you say that because around Lent and everything, it's like give up. It's like my kids laugh. I mean, I make it maybe a day or two with whatever I give up, it's like not happening because I drop different curse words
I did have a
constantly.
priest once say, if you have a hard time giving things up, then do something for Lent. And
Oh,
that has
instead.
helped me. So
Yeah.
whether it's, commit to volunteering somewhere or like do something for
Yeah.
somebody else, that's helped me because the giving up is a mess.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, instead of like giving up something you love. Oh, really? Does God want me to do that? Why? Like, why would he
He
want
doesn't.
that?
He wants you to be happy.
Myself. Oh my God. I love your story, Anna. But I mean, there was also something else I heard you talk about, and I even love it even more because again, you started to do. I think you had mentioned this before between COVID, and you at some point you went back. You didn't. It was like, because I felt like COVID lasts forever. Like, right? I feel like it lasted decades. And you went back to teaching or something. Did you say or no?
No, what happened was we were shuttered in the house.
Yeah.
My girls were old enough, and the school very quickly set up remote learning. So the girls
Oh.
were in their rooms learning, but my son was in kindergarten.
Oh gosh.
So that teacher would come on for like an hour in the morning, give us the
Okay.
lesson plan for the day, and then be like, see ya. And his teacher had 2 young kids. So she was even more checked out.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, to their credit, like no one, like that. I
Yeah.
remember the email that said, we're going to take 2 weeks off. Once this thing is figured out, we'll all come back to school.
Right.
Okay. No one went back to school.
I know.
Like
I
it was
know.
in crazy. Like it was just crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah. And like,
You became the
again, like
teacher.
growing up and I mean, I talk to people now, they're like, yeah, we didn't do any of that stuff. That was just like a lost year. I did every lesson, Jill, every lesson with him. He'd be under the table, crying,
Yeah.
screaming.
Yeah.
And like, it was like, nope, we still have math and science. Like, so, but again, it's the pivot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do not know in this very, very fast paced world, where one day you're holding something in your hand and the next day it's like, poof, it's gone. You need to learn how to pivot. And I think with our kids today, like these kids today, they're very coddled, they're very comfortable. And I think failure is very, very important because or else they do not learn how to like take that side road or, go that other way.
Yeah. All right. One last thing. So if you had to give, and you kind of touched on it there, if you had to give one piece of advice to any woman listening, whatever age they are, be it 30, 40, 50, 60, what advice would you give?
I would say life is very, very, very short. We are here for a very tiny little blip of time. Do what makes you happy. If being a stay-at-home mom makes you happy, do that. If being a high-level executive is what you want to do, figure out how to get there. Like whatever it is, because it's gone in an instant. And sometimes it's gone before we think it's going to be gone. So just, especially nowadays, I feel like every other day somebody's getting sick, something's happening, whatever. Maybe also as you get older, you just kind of see that more. Think about you. What fills your cup and do it. Find a way to do it because if you want to do it, you'll get it.
Oh, I love that. All right. So where do people find your book and your show?
So both my books are on Amazon. Heirloom Kitchen is the first one. That's a collaboration cookbook with 35 women, international cuisine. And then Instant Italian Snacking is all the snacks of Italy, all 20 regions, both on Amazon. My cooking show, Instant Italian, is streaming on Hulu and the FYI network. And you can always find me on Instagram making something delicious at Anna F. Gass.
Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. I just want to say, really, thank you so much, Anna. Your story is amazing. And I think everyone needs to hear that to give it a go. Find what you love, find something that lights you, as you said, lights you up, and just go for it. I mean, just try it.
What's the worst that could happen?
Right.
You have to pivot and do something else.
Right. Well, I see your show taking off, obviously. I think it's going to be everywhere. I think it's going to be.
Let's get that out. Let's manifest that. Let's manifest that. Yeah. So 9 months. So the way these things work, so it's on Hulu Plus for 9 months. And then after that, the like exclusivity goes away and then it starts popping up. So let's hope it pops off.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I mean, you have Rachel Ray behind you and she's a powerhouse. So
She sure is. And she's a good lady.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. All right. So that's it for us. A big thank you to Anna Francese Gass for coming on the show and sharing her incredible story and her insight. I'm Jill Conway, and thank you for listening to this incredible show, Celebrating Women. I hope you're inspired to pursue your own goals, believe in yourself, and dream bigger. Your voice matters, and your story can help others. I hope you join me next time and share this podcast with a friend. Follow us both on Instagram because we are there, and connect with us. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, Jill. This was so fun. This was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.